You may have heard Dr. Fauci, Malinsky, Press Secretary Jen Psaki, I don't know how to say her, Psaki, these alphabet agencies, the CDC, the World Health Organization, whenever they talk about COVID, talk about lockdowns, they always say, we're following the science. You heard it right. We're just following the science. The problem is that what they're really saying is they're following their narrative from their compromised uh, studies, their version of what they want. So they're not following the science, or they're not following science, they're following their science. So, to break this down with science, if they were truly following science and not their science, the science, as they always say, they would be using and relying on the scientific method. Now, I'm no expert with the scientific method, but the scientific method entails, and it dates back from I think the 17th century. It entails a hypothesis, being very open-minded to questions, which they're not doing because they're doing a lot of censorship, heavy skepticism, and being welcoming that skepticism, because that's the only way you learn, and trying to eliminate bias. And they're not doing this. We're barely in phase 3 of this mass experiment. It's like rush, and they're ignoring all of the side effects. Look at the VAERS, the vaccine adverse effects reporting system, the amount of injuries and deaths. I haven't checked it recently, but I do know it's much, much higher than probably all of the, I don't know for 100% sure, but I'm fairly certain the total is much higher than a lot of other vaccines combined. And those vaccines are not mRNA, and those were more established, and they took a long time to develop. So I'm not in favor of this rush, but we'll leave it at that. So we'll leave that for the discussion, excuse me. So yeah, they're not following the scientific method, and they're ignoring 56,000 at the time I checked, thousand, and I've talked about this before, the Great Barrington Declaration. Sorry if I'm being repetitive, some of my older subscribers, but I do get new ones. This is a document that's been signed by, at the time, it's probably even higher, 56,000 plus at the timing of this video, maybe even more, of medical professionals, biochemists, virologists, epidemiologists, practicing doctors, economists, and they all believe in this lockdown is causing more harm than good. So they're ignoring a lot of things. And I'll give you some quick specific examples. For one, saying the vaccine actually works. A lot of people, well, it's already been established and they've already admitted it. I don't know how they're getting a free pass, but people that are getting vaccinated, they were, before it came out, they were giving the impression that you get it and you're good. But what happens, or what has been happening, people that get vaccinated are still getting COVID. It started that one story that broke out in Massachusetts, where 75 to 80% or something, that of the 400 people were vaccinated. There are people in the comment section on this channel. I'm not going to name names because I'm keep it on the DL, but you know who you are. You guys know people that have gotten the vaccine, still got COVID, and the administration, they admit it now, and they still want you to wear a mask. So there's no relief. There's got these Hollywood people that are just the Holly weird, I call them. They're all woke, and they thought that if they just listen to what they're saying blindly, that they're going to be okay. But you guys get people like Seth Rogen now are saying, oh man, these guys are just, they've lied to us. It's they take one step, they get more power, they keep getting power and power. But yeah, they're not following the scientific method. The vaccines. Another thing is the mask wearing. At best, it's debatable, and especially those flimsy masks. Those flimsy masks can only prevent particles as small as 2.5 to 3 microns. What does that mean in layman's terms? Well, the virus, I did research on this, the average size of the virus is about 0.06 to about 1.4 microns. So even a virus that's bigger at 1.4 microns, that's still smaller than the 2.5 to 3 microns. The N95 is probably your best safe bet, but you tell me. I have an N95 because I'm a medical worker, but do you see anyone outside, average person, have an N95? No, because you can't even get it. It's hard to get it. It's for medical professionals. If it was really that crazy and serious, everybody would be, they would be rush delivery and mass making N95s. Also, if you've noticed, because I haven't done too many videos on this pandemic, because I just get so burned out from it. I've been so tired. But if you've seen like footage of these politicians, right? There's footage of, I forgot when it was. They all have their masks off, and as soon as the camera started rolling early, they all rushed to get their masks back on. It's all political theater. This is all political theater. This world is a play. It's basically a play. We're the audience. The globalists are the producers. They're writing the scripts. They're writing the script, right? We're the audience. This world's a complete play, and the politicians are the actors. That's just how it is. All right, we're living in a damn matrix. I mean, this is just insanity. So don't buy it just because somebody in a lab coat has glasses, talks fancy, has all these letters behind their names. You still have to make that decision. I would say the same thing about me. I know a lot of you guys do trust me, but I 100%, there's a chance that I could be wrong on certain things, and I will admit it. And if I am, I want to be called out on it because I want to make sure I get the right information. That's why I take this very, very seriously. But that's the difference. I want to get to the truth. I don't care about my ego. All right? I'm not. So I don't have anything to lose, but apparently they have a lot. Money, power grab, and this and that. So hopefully this video made sense. So don't get fixated by the lab coat, the glasses. They have a stethoscope around their neck. And I've had experiences with this with doctors where they're just acting like pharmaceutical reps and try to push this vaccine down my throat. And I'm not having it. And luckily, these doctors, they not luckily, but luckily for me, I've done my research. So you're not going to just blindly convince me to take something. Now, I'm not saying you want to take it, you want to take it. I'm not going to say it. I personally want to take it, especially if you're younger. If you're younger, and you could be definitely at high risk. I mean, the blood clots, crossing the blood-brain barrier, causing the blood clots, the myocarditis, pericarditis, just it's all there in the VAERS data, the Vaccine Adverse Effects Reporting System, but it's not being reported, or it's not being shown on the forefront. There's people that are getting adverse effects and are contacting news stations, and they don't want to touch it. It's all biased. It's very, very biased. Why is my channel that doesn't have that much of a following? I even got a channel warning. I didn't get a channel strike, but I got a warning. Why is that? Because I said Massachusetts, of the 400 people, there was the 80% or 75% were vaccinated. That's a fact. But I don't want to harp on that. So just because they say follow the science, don't just blindly follow that, and don't blindly just follow me. I want you to question everything. That's what I want out of this channel. I don't care if you agree with everything that I say or you don't. It's okay. We learn from it and we keep it moving. And if you want to stay with me, you want to stay with me. If not. But I'm here for the truth. I'm here for the truth. It's a burden to have to take the red pill over the blue pill. It is, especially when you have information and you feel helpless and you can't do anything about it. I understand that. It's a burden. It's easier. I would love for this narrative. I would love for me to just be able to accept this at face value, but I cannot, because when the PCR test of the high chance of false positivity hasn't been refuted, the mask wearing hasn't been refuted. I don't even get me started on the variant. I don't even know what percentage people that test positive for the variant. Do you know if there's an actual test for it? I'm asking you guys. There isn't. They have to do genomic sequencing, which I don't know how long it takes, and I'm not an expert on it. But I don't even know. I can't even find the information on what percentage that are testing positive for the variant are going through genomic sequencing. Maybe there's someone out there that knows it. If you do, direct me to it. I want to check it out. I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist. I'm not. I just want to know, are all these people that test positive for the variant, are there samples being sequenced genetically through a genome? I don't know. These are questions I want to know. And if these questions are answered if these questions, are the questions that I have are answered to my satisfaction and it makes sense, then yeah, I'll be the first one to tell you guys that the PCR test is very, very accurate. But it's not. I've said this, it's 11 minutes. I'm going to get out of this soon. The test hasn't been vetted for accuracy. If you go and get tested, all right, if you get tested and you test positive, you know what they're supposed to do before using this as the gold standard? They're supposed to take, let's say, my test, send it to one lab and make sure assuming there's no cross-contamination. After that, you're supposed to send it to another lab and another lab and another lab and see if you get the same exact results. And what's going to happen? I'm sure a lot of you guys have personally dealt with it too. You'll get a positive, then you'll get a negative. Then you get a positive, then you'll get a negative. What does that say? If you got a pregnancy test and it kept going back and forth to the pink line, to the 1 line, 2 line, 1 line, 2 line, what does that say about the validity of the test? In addition, you got to look at the actual patient. If I test positive and I'm freaking hitting a bench press PR, what does that say about the test? Why, if COVID is so deadly, why do I have to take a test to prove that it's deadly? It's so deadly that I have to test for it. I should be freaking rolling in my, and I'm not saying that people are not experiencing that, but there's a lot of people that I don't want to get too into it, but I know people that they tested. I know they were false positive because they were fine. They had nothing. Now, once again, I'm not downplaying people that have had side effects from it. I'm just saying there's a lot of people that test and they're like, what? I feel fine. What does that tell you about the validity of the test? Where's the scientific method for that? It's not there. Gotta go. 12 minutes. Bye.